You always use that.
Active and like defending.
I think like.
People, Deluded, I'm back again. Big up everybody tuned in. I hope you're all doing well and safe, and I hope you're all blessed. Now, why do people care what Bukayo Saka is getting paid? Now, I can believe it because it is football. You know, the pocket watchers, everybody's out and criticizing Saka's new deal and things like that. More so the media and some Arsenal fans. Now, disclaimer for those that misunderstand me. As you lot, we're all allowed opinions. Just like I'm saying mine, you're saying yours. You can all have concerns. You can be optimistic. You can say what you want. Football would be a dull game. Life would be boring if we all felt the same way. Now, for my 2 pence and for what it's worth, one, I don't really care what people are getting paid. You know, I love to see an academy prospect, a young icy free getting paid, getting money, generational wealth, doing the business on the football field, not so much the end of the season like all of his teammates. Why not? You know, and everybody's become accountants. First things first, nobody knows the makeup of Saka's contract. You know, unless you're Bukayo Saka and his loved ones, unless you're Edu and Arteta and necessary people around them, you don't know what he's getting. What I would say is I don't think Arsenal are giving him 300k a week base salary, a bit like Eddie and Ketty, 100 grand base salary, of course, with them having their best years in front of them, with them being English, with them being players that to some different degrees we're building around to kind of keep hold of the players. Of course, they're going to be paid handsomely, really, but we don't know the makeup of their salary. I don't think Saka is getting paid 300 bags a week base salary. And what I mean by that is, without doing anything, by just doing the minimum of turning up and playing games, you're getting 300 bags. He's not getting that. There's probably a lot of individual and collective bonuses, depending on how many goals and assists he gets, depending on Champions League qualification, depending on trophies we win, obviously seeing out the duration of his deal. It is what it is. And what I would say is, not for every player, even the highest paid player, Ronaldo and Messi and them man there, do you think they're going to get the weekly wages? I hate to refer to football as a business, but it is a business. Think about it logically, like some of you lot's lives. They're not in your jobs. You're not going to get paid a yearly salary if that business isn't either making pennies, making pounds on the pennies they're giving you essentially, or that you're bringing in more money. And let's look at Saka again from a footballing point of view. He helps us from a sporting point of view. He helps us win games. Again, how much would it cost if Saka was at a Premier League club? How much would it cost? True cost. Not that I'm a transfer man, but true cost. Not just the transfer fee, the wages if we was buying him. Obviously, he's a vital player at Arsenal Football Club with this youth rebuild. He's a poster boy for club and country. He's one of the most marquee players in the Premier League. I'm not saying he's the most. You got Mo Salah, you got Haaland, you got Kevin De Bruyne. After all of them, there's Bukayo Saka in it. So again, he's been able to leverage his image essentially for club and country, playing at the Euros and the World Cup as a result of doing the business on the football field. We need a right winger on the best of days, so we can't let one go. Obviously, he's 21, turning 22 in September. Football career short, you've got to leverage this. And if he signed a 4-year deal for half of these players, the Martinellis, hopefully Saliba, Ramsdale, probably Odegaard, not just us, but a lot of clubs within that time, they will sign extended deals. How many times do you see at City Foden getting new deals? Alvarez signing improved terms, but it won't surprise me if a year from now Haaland has signed improved terms. So again, the club is not going to pay Saka X amount if they're not making more on him and not being able to utilize him on the football field, his marketability, his image rights, considering that he's every year the man is getting better, really and truly. It doesn't make sense. And also, this is the market, rightly or wrongly. Football, we're at where we're at. We either scout players before they become big names, like what we've kind of done with Martinelli and promoting Saka, or we pay the going rate. Saka's probably looked at it and said, and I'm not saying he's better than Foden and all of these things, but naturally, if your agent's doing the right things, he's going to look at what the Rashfords, the Sakas, obviously historically Mount, Bellingham, you're going to see what these kind of guys, or even just away from being English, Premier League players are getting paid. And look at what Saka's done for the club. Look at what he can do. Look at where we're going, and leverage that really, really, really and truly. It's as simple as that. This is the market. I'm not saying everybody's going to get more or less than Saka, but if you're bringing in these exciting Declan Rice's, Caicedo's, and all these other names we're linked with, they're going to be on big deals. It's something you have to get used to. The only problem is when players are not doing the business. Now, obviously, Saka's had a fall off towards the end of the year. And, you know, despite the fact that Salah had great numbers, there were then whispers in the Premier League that Salah's cashed out. You know, we've been here with Aubameyang and Ozil, which was a bit different because they're at the end of their careers. And Aubameyang always shown that he wasn't the most well-behaved individual. So it weren't really a surprise what led to his demise. Ozil, Arsene Wenger said not to give it to that. We all not to give him that. It was leveraged with others. So I'm not saying there isn't concerns, but allegedly, you know, this has been the Romanos and the Ornsteins of this world have said this has been agreed since February. You know, so if he's known he's getting this deal in February and he's only falling off in May, you can't really say he's not motivated, he's down in tools and he's all of these things. Fortunately, Bukayo Saka is extremely headstrong. In my opinion, he takes the good and the bad, really. So I just think fans have to get used to it. And it's Saka, man. Like we've therefore given and still got a lot of players on the wage bill that don't deserve their wages. You know, Cedric probably ain't gonna get the wages elsewhere that he gets at Arsenal. Pepe at this moment definitely gonna get that, and so on and so forth. Really and truly, it don't really make sense. And again, he's turning 22 in September. So we need to tie him down, and he'll probably sign a new deal in the next few years or months, or months exaggeration, but in the next period, really. And that goes for several players. It's something we need to get used to. As long as you're doing the business on the field, no one gives a crap. And I think Mr. Dr. Gary O'Driscoll said it right. The amazing thing for us is we don't know what his limit is. He's still 21. He's still got loads of potential and the mindset to want to get better. You could forgive many people in Saka's position for resting on their laurels, but from how he plays, from how he conducts himself, for what people say about him, it's not that. He wants to be the best he can be, obviously for Arsenal Football Club, but selfishly, in my opinion, for himself. He wants to look back in his young career when it's done at 35 and say, I gave it a real shot. I reached all my potential. It is what it is. He does need some support, though. It'd be nice to not be scared about, you know, Saka needing a rest, and every time Saka pulls up, looking like he's injured and things. And again, an underrated aspect that went over my head. The best quality Saka has is he's durable. You know, you can kind of bet on him for all of the season, and you need to be prepared to play 40, 50 plus games a season, playing every 3 times a week and things. So we need depth. We need to help him, but this is the dynamics, and he's doing the business, people. Mikel Arteta is very aware of this too. We are all aware of it, but what we don't want to do is push him too far physically. At the moment, we've got a lot out of him, but we think we can get more. It's so rare. It's so rare to have that combination of mental capacity. He's had to grow up quick. His ambition and drive and theology, I can't say that, and we don't know the limits of. We are going to start to progress gradually, but we're excited that this could be just a start. We've learned the lessons of players in the past, and we want to not go too far with him. Hopefully, man, really and truly. Keeping up the theme with wingers, people. Allegedly, Plattenberg on the RB said he's on the list of Newcastle, but understand that it was not advanced in the last few months. Man United is monitoring the situation instead and confirm next steps on the club's ownership. Apparently, Bayer Leverkusen value him at between 70 to 80 million euros, and he's contracted until 2025, as well as being a key player for Xabi Alonso. So it's not going to be cheap, you know. I think we're going to either bring in a winger or a striker. Personally, while Saka needs rest, I'd prefer a more physical striker. Jesus could play out there. The Lavias, the Caicedos, the Zubamendis, the Rices of this world. You know, you're looking at for 2 players close to 200 million, 100 all the way to 150 odd for 2 midfielders. Obviously, we need a right back, a right centre back, and a left back. So I don't know how far our purse strings are going to stretch, really and truly. But it would be nice to have some competition for Bukayo Saka and just an option, a suitable option, so that he could be subbed if he's not happening for him in games, be utilised, because Arteta's going to have to be a bit cute and clever during the season next year with it being the Champions League. I always say you can kind of get away with it from August until December, but from that December period entering the new year, the competitions are coming thick and fast. If you're still in the League Cup, you got that. The FA Cup is going on. Obviously, you've played a lot of Premier League games. That's taken a lot out of you physically. There's a couple of international breaks as well. There will be injuries. Games in the Premier League are high intensity and high demanding. You look at how much physically maybe was left out of us when we played Man United at home, Aston Villa away, and Bournemouth at home. Very intense games. So once we get to the turn of the new year, and there's multiple competitions and games are coming thick and fast, Mikel Arteta needs to be a bit cute and clever. So yeah, man, I've got no concerns about the new deal for Saka, because if you know you've got this since February, and February times we were running away with the league, everything was going great, you were the down tools then. really. Inevitably, you know, you're not going to be in great form forever, really. And when you look at Saka's statistics, it took him a couple of weeks to actually start firing in the Prem. You know, you're going to go through good and bad form. Ultimately, you're going to, the same rope you climb up on is the same rope you're going to be hung with. He's ultimately going to be killed by his standards. You know, if Saka doesn't score for a game, there's question marks, really and truly. There will be inevitable, like all players, good and bad periods throughout a season or seasons of form. You know, a career is not just like that. I'd love it to be the case of Saka, just nothing ever goes wrong, but that's not how life works, really and truly. Not for him, not for Martinelli, not for any player, really. So, yeah, man, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on Saka's new deal. Do you think he's getting overpaid? Again, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's football, innit? And at the end of the day, whether I believe it was the right option and you believe it was the wrong one, I believe it was the wrong one, you believe it's the right one, the contract's been sealed in it. So it is what it is. If he keeps doing the business, nobody cares. A bit like overinflated transfer fees. If you do the business, no one gives a flying monkeys. But on that note, let me know what you lot think. Appreciate you lot for hearing out my 2 pence on the situation. So yeah, man, I'll see you lot soon. Check out the rest of the other vids. I'm out.
There's always just that.
I can bet that defenders.
I think it's like